Hollywood's elite aren't just sipping green juice and doing yoga on mountaintops. Behind the golden curtains of glamour lies a multi-billion-dollar obsession: cognitive enhancers, better known as smart drugs. Celebrities are popping pills like they're vitamins, not for healing, but for hacking their brains into performance machines. Imagine dodging failure, not with grit, but with a capsule. Sound dystopian? Welcome to the real-life sci-fi of Hollywood's brain-boosting addiction. But here's the kicker. These so-called smart drugs aren't just thriving in the shadows. They're being whispered about on red carpets, smuggled in designer bags, and quietly recommended by celebrity doctors with million-dollar NDAs. The line between medical miracle and chemical crutch is blurrier than ever. And for every actor memorizing scripts overnight, there's a crash, a dependency, or worse, an identity shaped by substances. So, what exactly are they taking? And why should you care? It starts with a promise: sharper focus, faster recall, boundless energy. But the risk? Mood swings like a broken pendulum, sleep wreckage, and in some cases, full-blown psychosis. These aren't side effects, they're red flags. And still, everyone from B-list actors to billion-view influencers are chasing that edge. Why? Because in a city where beauty fades and fame slips, mental horsepower is the last frontier. But the price of that power? Let's just say, not everyone who takes these drugs walks off stage when the camera's cut. Stay with us as we count down Hollywood's 5 favorite smart drugs and reveal what they're really doing behind the velvet curtain. Number 5. Modafinil. Marketed as a wakefulness agent, Modafinil was once reserved for narcoleptics. Now, it's the go-to for actors pulling 18-hour shoots and executives writing scripts at 3 a.m. Known as Hollywood's limitless pill, its appeal is obvious: laser-sharp focus, superhuman alertness, zero need for sleep. But here's the catch: take it too often and you risk frying your dopamine circuitry like a cheap motherboard. Users report feeling robotic, emotionally flat, even paranoid. One studio insider called it the performance drug that makes you forget you're human. Sound smart? Or just synthetic survival? Number 4. Adderall. It's not just for college kids and tech bros anymore. In Hollywood, Adderall is practically craft services passed around like breath mints on set. Originally designed for ADHD, this amphetamine cocktail has become a productivity weapon for memorizing scripts, disappearing into roles, and pushing through endless interviews. But the fallout? Heart palpitations, aggression, and burnout. So severe, some actors have checked into rehab just to sleep. Imagine chasing an Oscar and ending up unable to form a coherent sentence without a prescription. It's not ambition, it's biochemical roulette, and the house always wins. Number 3. Phenylpiracetam. If Adderall is the muscle car of smart drugs, phenylpiracetam is the stealth drone, slick, silent, and terrifyingly efficient. Originally developed by Soviet scientists to keep cosmonauts alert in orbit, this nootropic now finds its way into Hollywood trailers and personal assistants' tote bags. It promises heightened cognition, faster reaction times, and even increased tolerance to cold. But here's the twisted irony: many users report emotional disconnection, irritability, and nosebleeds worthy of a horror flick. One director reportedly banned it from set after an actor exploded in rage over a misplaced scarf. When your brain is firing on all cylinders but your soul is short-circuiting, is it still genius or just a glorified chemical cosplay? Number 2. Selegiline, also known as the happy whisper. Originally used to treat Parkinson's, this monoamine oxidase inhibitor found a second life in Hollywood's underground biohacking circles. Whispered about in A-lister saunas and injected behind closed doors, Selegiline boosts dopamine while acting like an emotional painkiller. Users report enhanced creativity and laser-sharp motivation, but that's not the whole story. Long-term use can trigger emotional blunting, insomnia, and the kind of euphoria that collapses into dark, crushing lows. One aging actor described it as falling in love with your own delusion. It's not just about staying ahead, it's about outrunning invisible demons with a pharmaceutical leash. Number 1. Microdosed LSD. Yes, acid. Not in technicolor hallucinations or muddy music festivals, but in whisper, thin doses measured by Hollywood's latest flavor of concierge psychiatrists. These tiny hits of lysergic acid are taken not to trip, but to tune in creativity, razor-honed, anxiety muted, existential dread softened like a background hum. Screenwriters swear it unblocks imagination, while directors claim it sharpens intuition on set. But here's the sinister curtain call. Repeated microdosing can destabilize your brain's serotonin system, blur emotional boundaries, and in rare cases, trigger latent psychosis. And the worst part? You won't know it's broken until the high-functioning illusions begin to crumble. So is it enlightenment, or just insanity in slow motion? Don't look away, this rabbit hole only gets deeper. But not all hope is lost in Hollywood's neurochemical jungle. Here comes the twist. Two substances, often overshadowed by their flashier, riskier cousins, may actually offer brain boosts without the crash and burn aftermath. First up, lion's mane mushroom. This shaggy fungus isn't just Instagram aesthetic, it promotes the growth of new brain cells, boosts memory, and regulates mood through its unique compounds called hericenones. Unlike the synthetic hit of Adderall, lion's mane whispers rather than screams. It doesn't hijack your system, it nurtures it. One producer said it helped him remember childhood dreams, not scripts. That's a different kind of magic. But is it enough to curb the craving for quick fixes? We'll see with the next one. Next, meet L-theanine, a compound found in green tea and now in nearly every clean focus supplement Hollywood's health nuts swear by. Unlike the jarring jolt of a stimulant, L-theanine smooths your brainwaves into alpha mode, the same serene frequency associated with meditation and deep creativity. It's the Zen counterbalance to caffeine's chaos, enhancing focus without turning you into a jittery mess. Some actors say it lets them memorize lines faster with half the anxiety, all while keeping a cool composure on screen. No crashes, no cravings, just clarity. But in a culture obsessed with instant results, can the gentle path ever compete with the chemical roller coaster? Or are we too far gone to appreciate a whisper when we've been chasing screams? And now we arrive at the climax, the most chilling story behind Hollywood's brain-hacking mania. Tianeptine, nicknamed gas station heroin, imported illegally, often hidden inside sketchy wellness supplements, this so-called mood enhancer was originally developed as an antidepressant. But in the wrong hands, it becomes a euphoric trapdoor into full-blown addiction. Insiders whisper about stars who started on Tianeptine for focus and ended up in detox units, shaking and sobbing between auditions. It mimics opioids in the brain, meaning that radiant calm comes packaged with brutal withdrawals and mounting desperation. One stuntman was found passed out on set, claiming between slurred words that he just needed clarity. This isn't clarity, it's chemical quicksand, and Hollywood's still dancing on its surface in designer shoes. The question now isn't who's taking it, but who's next to fall through. So, where does that leave us? In an industry where image is everything and authenticity is a liability, smart drugs have become the silent scriptwriters of success. But behind each glowing red carpet photo is a person tangled in biochemical choices they may not fully understand. The glitz masks a growing crisis, a creative community seduced by shortcuts, risking their very selves for a fleeting edge. It's not just about Hollywood anymore. We're entering an era where brain enhancement is quietly becoming a new social currency. The red pills have gone mainstream. The question isn't whether this trend will crash, but how many minds it will take with it when it does. And if you think you're safe outside the spotlight, think again. The age of cognitive doping is here, and it's wearing a wellness label. Will you take the pill, or start asking who's handing it to you? Here's the haunting question we're left with. If fame demands a chemically altered mind, is it still talent, or just chemistry on cue? Hollywood may be the stage, but the experiment is global. Students, CEOs, even parents are reaching for these enhancers in silent desperation. What happens when your worth feels tethered to how optimized your brain seems to be? The scariest part? No one's talking about long-term effects. Maybe because no one knows, or maybe because no one wants to know. So before you envy that unstoppable energy or genius-level wit, ask yourself, are you seeing brilliance, or just the perfect dosage? The credits are rolling, but the story isn't over. Not by a long shot. Next time you're scrolling past a viral clip of an actor flawlessly delivering a 10-page monologue or a director claiming their vision came in a dream, take a moment. Behind that, brilliance might not be genius at all, but pharmacology in costume. This isn't a witch hunt against ambition, it's a wake-up call about the price of acceleration. Because if the soul of creativity can be compressed into a capsule, then maybe the darkest twist isn't the drugs themselves, but the culture that makes them feel necessary. The next frontier isn't in the stars, it's in your bloodstream. So ask yourself, when performance becomes prescription, what part of you stays authentic, and what part dissolves, uncredited, into the system? We've pulled back the curtain on Hollywood's pharmaceutical playbook, but the stage is bigger than any blockbuster. Every scroll, every hustle culture reel, every supplement-packed morning routine whispers the same message. Your natural state isn't enough. In a world that rewards speed over depth and output over well-being, the temptation to chemically rewrite your brain is no longer fringe, it's the cultural default. Maybe the final question isn't what they're taking, but why we're all playing along. So, here's your moment of clarity. Real focus doesn't come in a bottle, and borrowed genius always comes with interest. Choose your dose, or choose to wake up. And just like that, the velvet curtain falls. But what it hides isn't just drug use, it's a cultural reckoning. We once marveled at the method actors, the auteurs, the sleepless geniuses who burned for their art. Now, we're left questioning if the burn was ever theirs to begin with, or just the side effect of a substance sold in silence. The tragedy isn't that stars are reaching for enhancement, it's that we're following their lead, willingly stepping into the same neurological gamble. So the next time you crave that mental edge, stop. Ask yourself, are you chasing excellence or escaping the terrifying idea that you might already be enough? That's not just a personal question, it's the plot twist no one saw coming. So, where do we go from here? Maybe it's time to redefine brilliance, not as a chemically induced state of superfunction, but as the courage to think slowly in a world obsessed with speed. Maybe it's not about optimizing every neuron, but trusting that clarity, creativity, and resilience are built, not bought. Because the truth is, no amount of enhancement will ever replace the raw, unfiltered spark of human experience. And if we keep outsourcing that to chemistry, we may wake up one day to find our minds aren't ours anymore, just scripts written by molecules for an audience we no longer even recognize. Because, in the end, the most dangerous drug isn't Modafinil or microdosed LSD. It's the illusion that we must constantly upgrade ourselves to be worthy, that our biological limits are flaws, not features. Hollywood may glamorize the grind, but the real power lies in stepping off the treadmill. We don't need a pill to matter. We need rest, connection, and the audacity to trust our natural minds in an age that's trying to chemically edit them out of existence. So whether you're on set or on Zoom, here's the final cue. Brilliance isn't in the capsule. It's in the courage to just be human. That's the story worth telling. So here's the final scene. No spotlight, no applause, just you and the question echoing louder than any standing ovation. What are you willing to compromise for performance? In chasing the illusion of limitless potential, Hollywood may have unwittingly revealed the rawest truth of all, that the real genius is not in hacking the brain, but in honoring its limits. Maybe the next revolution won't come in the form of another miracle drug, but in the radical act of rejecting the upgrade. Because the boldest script we can write isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And in a culture overdosing on ambition, presence might just be the only antidote left. So as the credits fade and the screen goes dark, remember this. Hollywood's drug-fueled chase for brilliance isn't just a scandal, it's a mirror, a distorted reflection of our collective fear of falling behind, of being merely average in a world that worships optimization. But the truth that nobody wants to say out loud? You were never supposed to function like a machine. Your brain isn't broken because it forgets, wanders, or rests. Maybe it's doing exactly what it was designed to do live. So the real rebellion isn't in a nootropic blend or a new prescription. It's in the simple, defiant choice to trust your natural rhythm. To be fully awake without being chemically awakened. Just maybe. That's where true greatness hides, not in a lab, but in the quiet, unaltered corners of your mind. So next time you see brilliance, ask yourself, are you witnessing talent or dosage? In a world anesthetized by urgency and performance, choosing to honor your mind as it is might be the most radical act left. The Hollywood narrative has always been about transformation, but maybe the story we need now is about returning to balance, to breath, to self. The pills may promise progress, but presence is what truly endures. Curtain closed your move now. Because in the end, this isn't just about drugs or Hollywood, it's about narrative control. Who gets to write your story? A bottle, a brand, a brain hack, or you? The world will keep selling shortcuts dressed as success, wrapped in wellness jargon and serotonin promises. But the most powerful script you'll ever hand in won't be typed under the influence of a limitless pill, it'll be the one you write in clear-headed defiance of it all. So take a breath, close the bottle, and ask yourself for the final time, what if your imperfect, unenhanced mind is already enough to steal the scene? And maybe that's the real ending we never expected: a quiet revolution, one brain at a time, choosing presence over perfection. In a culture that glorifies burnout, celebrates hustle, and markets optimization as salvation, the boldest act might be to do less, feel more, and refuse the pill entirely. The real smart drug? It's not a substance at all. It's the clarity that comes when you step away from the noise, tune into your own rhythm, and realize that the most brilliant version of yourself doesn't need enhancement, it just needs permission. Fade to black, not because the story is over, but because it finally belongs to you. So when the lights come back on and the screen fades to static, remember this: the truest performance isn't the perfectly delivered line or the endlessly productive grind. It's the raw, messy, undrugged reality of being human in an age that's drugging reality itself. We don't need more enhancements to keep up. We need more courage to slow down. If there's a revolution coming, it won't arrive in capsules or vials, but in a collective decision to value authenticity over acceleration. To stand still in a world that won't stop moving, that's the scene stealer. And maybe, just maybe, that's how we finally reclaim the script. Not with chemicals, but with choice. So let this be the last line, the one not coated in dopamine manipulation or sharpened by pharmaceutical precision. Let it be raw. You, exactly as you are, can carry the weight of your story. No enhancements, no edits, just presence. Because in a culture seduced by shortcuts and obsessed with engineered excellence, the most magnetic force left is a mind unmedicated by pressure. Hollywood's obsession with smart drugs isn't the future, it's a warning. And now that you've seen behind the curtain, the only question left is, will you keep playing the part or finally step into real life, unscripted? So, here we are, script closed, but awareness opened. You've heard the whispers, seen the side effects, walked through the chemical corridors of Hollywood's psyche. Now the spotlight shifts to you. You don't need credits to reclaim your focus or a label to validate your brilliance. You just need to remember, the brightest minds aren't built in labs, they're forged in experience, in struggle, in being fully, unapologetically alive. In a world overdosing on performance, presence is resistance. Your story doesn't need a drug to be epic. It just needs you unaltered, awake, and finally in control. This is where our story ends, but it's also where yours begins. As the lights dim on Hollywood's chemically augmented performance, a new spotlight turns toward the choice we all face. To follow the script of enhancement, or to rewrite it with our own values. No pills, no pretense, just the quiet conviction that authenticity, though slower and messier, will always outshine the illusion. So when the next trend promises to upgrade your mind, remember what you've just seen behind the scenes. Walk away, not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to be enough. Fade out. Stay human.